Hello and welcome. My name is Lucas Weiss. I'm pleased to be joined by the managing editor of the Puck Authority, Justin Levine. Justin, how are you today?
Doing well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Justin, of course, covers the AHL, the OHL, but he is big into women's hockey. And Justin, what a huge announcement yesterday with the NWHL Toronto franchise. It's a real theme. And Justin, I want to get your initial reaction to when you heard that Toronto is getting an NWHL franchise.
All right, so the NWHL formally announced yesterday morning at around 8 a.m. Eastern time that they were putting a new franchise in Toronto, their sixth team to join after the Minnesota Whitecaps were their last expansion team. Now, was I surprised by this? No. There's been talk for about a year now that they were looking to put a team either A in the GTA or B in Montreal. I was surprised only in one sense that it was in Toronto because the Les Canadiens de Montréal were the most profitable team in the CWHL, which we'll dig into more in just a moment or two. So, yeah, there was a little surprise there, but I think more than that, I was excited because this, again, is another sign of the growth of women's hockey and how important that is right now. So I think while there's mixed reaction, this was a really positive step forward.
Montreal, very, very interesting that you bring up that city, of course, a deep hockey history with the Montreal Canadiens. Why do you think Montreal was so successful with a women's hockey franchise compared to Toronto?
All right, so a couple things go into this. Number one, they had some of the top players in the CWHL. They had Hilary Knight, they had Marie-Philippe Poulin, they had Emeryn Smashmeyer, who is an absolute star between the pipes. That's just one. B, their management team led by Meg Hewings. She is an absolute star. She's been doing this a while, so she knows what she's doing. And with that, she had her head coach as Caroline Ouellette for the last season after she took over as bench boss. So that's really impactful, especially someone who's already been in the league as a player stepping in on the management side. So I think that was really a big thing to see that team succeed.
Now, you speak of course, the Toronto Furies, a part of the CWHL, which folded. And I think one of the big challenges for the Furies was their arena location. It was the MasterCard Center. And for those of you who have been to that arena, it's very difficult to get to. What are your thoughts, Justin, on the potential new arena for the NWHL Toronto franchise? Some names have come up, but what if you had to pick one arena, which would you pick and why?
If I had to pick an arena, I would go with Maple Leafs Gardens, better known now as the Mattamy Athletic Center. It's right on the subway line. It's around the Dundas area, which is perfect, very popular area, very highly populated. And it's a 5-minute walk, if that, from the subway, from the stop of the subway station. So I think really that's their best option. It currently houses the Ryerson Rams, both their men's and women's hockey teams. And I mean, it's been kept up to perfect condition. It fits for the players. It fits a whole lot of fans. I think you couldn't go wrong putting a team there if and when a deal comes together there.
Yeah, I've been to the Mattamy Athletic Center a lot, just watching hockey, and it's a great place. It's a great venue, a great amphitheater to host a women's hockey team. I think two arenas, though, that should also get attention in the Toronto area. Number one is the Scotiabank Pond. I think that's a very interesting location because it's on the subway line. It's also on the GO Transit line. So you can definitely get people to that rink. It, of course, is the home of the Toronto Junior Canadiens in the OJHL. Another one I think is Varsity Stadium. And maybe I'm showing my U of T colors here, but it's a place that is, again, right on the subway line. It's still a great, iconic arena, and you can bring a lot of students to come watch women's hockey.
Yeah, it certainly is an iconic arena. It's been around a long, long time. The only thing I would say is because of it's been around a long, long time, it hasn't been kept up to perfect condition. It has to be precisely taken care of after games in a certain manner. It's freezing cold inside there, so you got to bring a jacket. I mean, they warm it up like very, very little bit for women's hockey, so it's still bitter cold. As well, the seats, they're old, so it gets kind of squishy when they put together a good crowd. But of course, with youth sports, that's kind of a hit or miss. And then last but not least, when the fans bang on those seats, man, does it get loud in there. So, I mean, not that that's by any means the pushing factor here, but a couple things to consider.
Let's just go back to yesterday in the news of the Toronto NWHL franchise. And while a lot of the reaction was positive, of course, this is Toronto being the mecca of hockey in North America, there definitely was some mixed reaction, particularly from the PWHPA side, where they released a statement saying, look, we can make this an us versus them reality today. We're not going to do that. While we're happy to have Toronto be an NWHL franchise, we still think that one league is the best way to go in order to increase equity, increase salaries, and to really grow women's hockey. I'm just curious, Justin, your reporting and what you have heard in terms of this mixed reaction.
So yeah, I have heard a lot of mixed reaction. I've spent the last 24 hours or so in touch with players and executives from the PWHPA. And I mean, while there's a lot of excitement because pro women's hockey is officially returning in league form to the city of Toronto, there's a lot of players who felt that the NWHL, while they're paying players, it's not enough that it's up to their standards that they can kind of live by it, because the players of the NWHL, first of all, they still have day jobs. So again, it's not a perfect solution there. Secondly, they don't believe that what they're after is kind of within the same mission line as the PWHPA, which is to find a supporter and put together a sustainable and profitable league. Because NWHL, while they're in their 5th season, who knows if it's something that's going to be a long-term sustainable like the CWHL was for 12 years.
And speaking of that long-term sustainability, what do you think is the biggest hurdle currently facing the new Toronto franchise to achieve that?
I would say, the biggest hurdle is the arena. I think right now that's the most important thing to get out of the way. But not only that, finding top quality hockey players. And I say that because only 5 players in the PWHPA were recruited by Digit Murphy and the rest of her team in the NWHL. So while that's a start, a lot of the players here, they're not going to change their minds. They voiced that they don't want to, and other reasons, of course, being that they don't find that the league is one that's going to be sustainable and one that meets the needs that they require. I mean, especially when you're coming from your day job to late night practices or late night games or weirdly timed games on weekends, as they do their games on weekends like the CWHL did. So there's a lot of different factors here.
Well, Justin, thank you so much for providing that helpful insight and perspective. And I think we can both agree that when the Toronto NWHL franchise opens up later this year, I think it's going to be fascinating to watch how this team can grow and hopefully achieve that long-term sustainability, growing the women's game.
Absolutely. That's the biggest goal. And with, getting a living salary and, making all ends perfectly meet, whereas players don't need to, be coming from their 9-to-5 jobs to play late night hockey or whether it's practices or games and, be considered professional athletes as they are with the national team. And this includes travel too. This is what they're after. And I think under Jana Hefford right now that it's showing that they have a mission, and while the NWHL is trying to succeed it in a different way, we'll see what happens. But for now, there is a lot of excitement with the expansion of the Toronto NWHL team. So we'll see where that goes.
Justin, thank you very much. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Same to you. Take care.